Okay, Sophie, sit. Yes, good girl. Sophie, stay. Up, sit. Yes, stay. Okay, break. Good girl. Good job. Good girl. All right, let's do it one more time to show off our threshold training. So this video is going over threshold training, which is the practice of having her sit and stay until she's invited through the door after us. Okay, Sophie, sit. Yes, good girl. Stay. Good girl. Oh, sit. Stay. Okay, break. Good job, Sophie. Good girl. All right, this is super important for obvious reasons. It is really, really helpful from a safety standpoint because it helps reduce the risk of door dashing. Door dashing is where a pup sees a door kind of slightly open and they try to go darting out to go on a big adventure in the neighborhood, which is, of course, very, very dangerous. So we want her to really be in that habit of waiting to be invited through the door. The other reason this is super helpful and important is it also is a really good chance to work on impulse control and the stay command. Stay is one of those commands where you do need to set aside some time to build up time and distance with her and practice with distractions and in a variety of scenarios. So the more we can build it into our daily routine, the better off she will be. And threshold training is one of the best ways to do that, along with mealtime. So for mealtime, we would have her sit, we would tell her stay, we'd lower the food bowl down really slowly, and then if she started to get up, we'd pull it up until we can get it all the way down with her staying. So I also recommend that 1 meal a day in the crate when practicing stay. But threshold training, super, super helpful for stay and impulse control. And the other big reason threshold training is so important is it's a really good way to communicate with our pup that we have their back, we are in charge of their safety, and not the other way around. So for pups, we want them to be confident when we're out and about and not feel like it is their burden to protect us. This will help reduce the risk of things like leash reactivity or just reactivity in general. So when we walk through doors first, we are communicating in a way they naturally understand that is the case. And then also things like slightly standing in front. So say we're stopped to talk to the neighbor. Sophie. Sophie. Touch. Yes, sit. Sophie, sit. Yes, good girl. So say we're stopped and talk to someone. I'm going to be slightly ahead of her. Doesn't have to be anything dramatic, just like this. We don't have to be up here. We just don't want to be back here. Because if we're talking to someone and Sophie's in front of us, then we're kind of actually communicating to the pup that they are in charge of our safety and they are the leader, and we don't want that. So not to be confused with dominance theory and power dynamic. We're not doing any kind of dominance like show to our dog. It really just is about subtle body language clues that we are their protector. And one of my favorite examples, really to just highlight the importance of this, is one time when I was in New York, I had a Mastiff Great Dane mix. He was 150 pounds. His name was Fang. He was the cutest little giant puppy. And he was so sweet at the shelter. So the rescue I fostered for pulled him because he got along with everyone. So we thought he'd be a great fit. But almost as soon as he settled into my home, he became extremely reactive on leash. He was lashing out on people, and here we have this very insecure dog, and he is just nipping at people as we walk down the streets of New York City. So, I mean, it was really, really a dangerous situation very quickly. So that was one of the dogs that really inspired me to get into training. So I was working with a trainer who helped out with the rescue, and we, I was like, he's really like such a big baby. I don't understand. And it really is that he was such a submissive, back of the pack kind of dog, but he thought it was his job to protect me, which caused him to really lash out in these weird ways. But as soon as we started implementing door work, threshold training, posturing, things like, standing slightly ahead, all of that made the biggest difference. Of course, I did other training with him. Of course, like we learned the basic heel and we learned how to sit and all of that. But the biggest difference in terms of his reactivity was that threshold work. And I did threshold training with him for every single door. So internal doors are fair game too. But I did it from my bedroom to go out to the living room. I did it from my apartment door to the hallway to the elevator door to the 2 or 3 doors it took from the elevator to get outside. did it all with him. And it really, really made a big difference. It only took a couple weeks, which is pretty big compared to where he was. So I encourage everyone to do this just as a kind of a precautionary measure. We really just want to communicate to our dogs, especially because Sofie can be a little bit nervous in new situations. So we want to make sure she feels as at ease as possible. And so just by walking through those doors first, and whether we're in a new place, like when we went into Home Depot and things like that, I'm very aware of kind of where my body is in comparison to her. And when we walk into a new place, I am ahead of her and invite her through, and I'm checking in with her and encourage just so she knows like she is safe as long as she's by my side and she's focused on me. So that's my little spiel about how important it is. But again, just to review, when you go through doors, you're going to have her sit, you're going to tell her stay, you're going to open the door behind you, you will walk through first, and then you will invite her through afterwards. So let me know if that makes sense or if you have any questions. But let us know how threshold work is going at home.